You know what? I think we'll watch this before I end. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Why did Nishiki change? A psychoanalysis of Akira Nishikiyama. You know what? We'll watch it. It's 11 minutes. Who's this by anyway? Geology. What has he done? Is it just all? Oh no, it's other games as well. Oh, I've seen this video show up my recommended. I didn't watch it. Okay, yeah, no, I've seen this. I've run across this channel before. I don't think I watched that video though. Brodie, have you ever watched a race? I watched it when it aired. So, a long time ago. Anyway, let's have a look at Nishiki.
Akira Nishikiyama was many things to Kiryu. He was a drinking buddy, a karaoke companion, a sworn brother, but most of all, he was family. The two grew up together at Sunflower Orphanage, where they were virtually inseparable. It seemed like they did everything together, even going as far as joining the Yakuza. Whatever happened, they always had each other's backs. They even stood against the Dojima family together.
Man, Zero was so good.
The important role that Nishiki played in Kiryu's life makes it all the more tragic when Nishiki goes from family to enemy. Today, I'll be reviewing psychological concepts and case studies to find out what exactly...
Also, Kiwami 1 and 0, great looking games for running the PS3. Did they come on the... They didn't come on the... No. 0 wasn't a PS3 release, no. Yakuza 0. Oh, it was a PS3, PS4 release. Okay. I don't know how the PS3 version looked.
Caused this change in Nishiki. But first, a quick spoiler warning for Yakuza's 0, 1, and Kiwami. With that out of the way, let's dive in. Spoiler warning for...
Oh, okay, this is gonna seem gay. I was gonna say... How do you fit Ishin in here? But sure, okay.
Yakuza's 0, 1, and Kiwami. With that out of the way, let's dive in. One of the most prominent factors behind Nishiki's transformation stems from his inferiority complex. According to Very Well Mind, an inferiority complex is when a person has feelings of inadequacy or inferiority, whether real or imagined. Although
I would feel inadequate if I'm near Kiryu as well.
Nishiki loved Kiryu dearly. The sheer magnitude of Kiryu's character, accomplishments, and ability intensified Nishiki's insecurities and aggravated his complex. We can actually see signs of this complex as early as Yakuza 0. In this scene where Nishiki tries to kill Kiryu, we can actually see
that scene
signs of this complex
where Kiryu steals his car. Yeah.
In this scene where Nishiki tries to kill Kiryu to prevent him from being tortured, Nishiki breaks down and says that he is nobody without Kiryu. This statement is in line with one of the primary characteristics of an inferiority complex, which is
voice acting is
displaying
great.
signs of low self-esteem. In Yakuza Kiwami, Nishiki's complex gets fleshed out a lot more. There are multiple scenes in Kiwami where we see people directly comparing Nishiki to Kiryu. For instance, in one scene, Nishiki overhears a group of Yakuza talking poorly about him and saying it would have been better if Nishiki went to jail instead of Kiryu. He also overhears him say that Kazuma, who's Nishiki's and Kiryu's adoptive father, favored Kiryu over Nishiki. Additionally, when Nishiki is given his own family to run, his men don't respect him. The principal offender, Matsuhige, even goes as far as telling Nishiki,
this fucking dude, you are the cause of everything to fall with Nishiki.
that he would have listened to a man like Kiryu, but not somebody as useless as Nishiki. In another instance, Nishiki is unable to keep his men in check, and they end up taking money from the Kazuma family's territory. After Nishiki's former captain, Kashiwagi, finds out, he beats up Nishiki as a punishment. Kashiwagi eventually forgives Nishiki.
Why would you not re-record that audio bit? If you notice it during editing, like, you're not doing, like, a face cam, just fix the audio.
But in a moment of frustration, he mutters under his breath that this would never have happened if Kiryu was around. Nishiki overhears this and is visibly hurt
I know
by
the feeling.
Kashiwagi's remarks. In all of these scenes, we can see from Nishiki's expressions the pain that these comments cause him. Even when the comments are not meant as a serious attack on Nishiki's character, such as Kashiwagi's, Nishiki seems significantly affected by them. This is actually a characteristic of an inferiority complex, which is to have a tendency to overanalyze compliments and criticisms. Perhaps the best
I know that. I know that feeling all too well as well.
Best example of this symptom in Nishiki is in a scene where he is speaking to Reina after the murder of Dojima and the arrest of Kiryu. After hearing about the news, Reina is in a state of panic and asks Nishiki why he didn't do anything to prevent it. Nishiki internalizes this as Reina blaming him for the entire incident, and out of frustration, he hits her. Although it's obvious that Nishiki suffers from inferiority complex, that alone is not enough to turn him into a seemingly psychopathic killer. Instead, perhaps a primary instigator behind Nishiki's change are the traumatic situations that he had endured. In addition to the mistreatment from his peers and the bullying at the hands of his own men, Nishiki also lost his sister, Yuko. The death of a family member is already traumatic enough, but the way in which
right. She was the, Right, Nishiki needed money for, like, medical bills or something. Yeah.
He lost Yuko is even more traumatic. Yuko struggled with poor health, constantly needing surgeries in order to extend her lifespan. Eventually, Yuko's doctor tells Nishiki that she needs a new heart, or else she will die. The doctor elaborates that the only way for her to get a heart in time is through an organ dealer on the black market, the cost of which would be a substantial 30 million yen. Nishiki then agrees to give the doctor the 30 million yen. In order to save his sister, he swallows what pride he has left, and, on hands and knees, he begs Matsuhige for help. Even in this desperate, vulnerable moment, Matsuhige chooses to humiliate Nishiki even further and uses his boot.
Well, he knows that if Nishiki's gonna do that, he just controls the family now. Like, you don't lower your head to someone below you like that. Like, he's the boss now.
To push Nishiki's face into the ground. Now that Matsuhige has this leverage over Nishiki, he is allowed to do whatever he pleases. This causes Nishiki to completely lose control of his own men. They constantly go over his head, treat him with contempt and disrespect, and take advantage of him. But despite this, Matsuhige does live up to his end of the deal, and eventually, he gets Nishiki the 30 million yen. It is at this point that Nishiki realizes that he's been played. The 30 million yen was obtained from the gambling debts of the very same doctor who promised to save his sister. Nishiki rushes to the hospital to confront the doctor, but upon arriving, finds out that the doctor had already packed up and skipped town. All of Nishiki's hard work and the abuse that he had to put up with.
Is there only one? I just realized, is there only like one surgeon in this entire city? Like, are there no other surgeons that could like replace a heart? I know it's like a black market heart, sure, but like even so.
Was for nothing, and his sister ended up dying. These events completely broke Nishiki, and completely defeated, he resolves to take his own life. As Nishiki prepares to kill himself, Matsuhige enters the room and starts berating him. He calls Nishiki incompetent and compares him to Kiryu again. This was the boiling point for Nishiki, and in a moment of rage, he stabs and kills Matsuhige. After killing Matsuhige, Nishiki comes to the new twisted view that his path was set since he killed Dojima, and that
he did the fucking hair flip, the fucking hair thing. You know he's evil now because he's got his hair back.
In killing one person or many people. He then resolves to do whatever it takes to rise to the top. Dr. Peter Ash spoke to media outlet CNN about why some people snap and end up killing. He says, in fact, although a person's snap into violence may come as a total surprise, in most cases there's a psychological buildup to that point. Dr. Charles Rayson added that one of the possible causes of such a buildup are feelings of being hopeless, ashamed, and trapped. Needless to say, Nishiki was a prime candidate.
We dicked the duck? No, we did not dick the duck.
A psychological buildup of his inferiority complex, constant comparisons to Kiryu, abuse from his peers, and guilt over his sister left him feeling hopeless and trapped. This resulted in him murdering his prime antagonizer, Matsuhige, in a blind fit of rage. Now, I've seen some people suggest that this moment turned Nishiki into a psychopath, but I would like to take a moment to dispel this notion. Although Nishiki does present some of the symptoms of psychopathy, such as cold and callous attitudes and an indifference towards others, I do not believe that he is a psychopath. You see, psychopathy is believed to be a product of nature and nurture. A person is born with the neuromechanisms of a psychopath, such as their inability to experience empathy or emotions. These neuromechanisms then interact with social and environmental factors and may be aggravated or minimized by negative or positive experiences. Some examples of negative environmental factors may consist of adverse childhood experiences.
I'm not sure how that like disproves that he's a psychopath.
Or poor parenting. As evident by Nishiki's character, he is highly able to experience emotional pain and empathy. The neuromechanics for psychopathy do not appear to be present in Nishiki. Instead, there are a combination of other psychological processes going on here that change Nishiki. It appears that through these events,
just for
Nishiki
visuals, yeah,
attributes associated
this
with
is just Subway Surfer
personality disorder. Some of the symptoms relevant to Nishiki are believing that they are superior to others, looking down on other people, taking advantage of others to get what they want, an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings feelings of others, being envious of others, such as Nishiki's feelings towards Kiryu, and behaving in arrogant ways. A study by Michael Gross and his colleagues found that narcissism can develop in adulthood. One of the causes of this increase in narcissistic tendencies can derive from experiencing failure. In their research, they found that
that's fair, I
students who had
guess.
failed an important exam paradoxically showed an increase in narcissism. The researchers concluded that this spike could be the result of a defensive mechanism where individuals overinflate their self-image in response to failure in order to feel more in control of their own destiny. Similarly, Dr. Dan Newharth suggests that underneath self-centeredness are feelings of being flawed, powerless, and unworthy. Dr. Leon Seltzer adds on to this and states that individuals with an anxiety disorder are afflicted with self-absorption, not because they're selfish or insensitive to others, but because they're locked into bothersome, repetitive thought processes, reflecting fears both about their personal inadequacy and how others might see them. As we've already
Huh. Nishiki's a really... I really like Nishiki as a character. I really, really do. As you've said, I do wish there was like more, like even more to flesh out Nishiki's character, like during the Yakuza 1 segments. Obviously, we had the cutscenes of Nishiki and all that, but like, I would really like a full Nishiki game. That would be so cool. You should stream the next Yakuza game you start. That'll be Song of Life.
Discussed. These feelings of inadequacy perfectly summarize Nishiki's inferiority complex and his feelings of powerlessness. I think one of Nishiki's quotes perfectly summarizes this mental state. In a scene where he reunites with Kiryu, he tells him that after the events that happened 10 years ago, he is no longer able to trust anyone. He started focusing only on himself and became completely self-absorbed. In addition to these newfound narcissistic tendencies, a study by Jasna Munjiza and colleagues
I'm definitely going to stream Like a Dragon. That I can
adults
say.
by studying people who experience significant wartime traumas. In their study, they examined 182 participants with personality disorders. Of these participants, 65 people, or about 35%, only developed their personality disorder after experiencing the traumas of war. This group will be referred to as the late onset group. As their personality disorders only developed in adulthood, they found that the late onset group was much more likely to experience schizotypal and schizoid traits. Schizoid personality disorder is a personality disorder characterized by a lack of interest in social relationships, a tendency towards a solitary or sheltered lifestyle, secretiveness, emotional coldness, detachment, and apathy. Some of the traits associated with this personality disorder that we can see in Nishiki are as follows: not wanting or enjoying close relationships, having difficulty expressing emotions, seemingly humorless, indifferent, or emotionally cold to others, and not reacting to praise or critical remarks from others.
I think that's fair.
Last one here is interesting because it showcases a complete change in Nishiki's character. As we previously discussed,
Yakuza 0 Nishiki is very different.
Criticism by others.
I just remember Nyanas is an item from Ishin. Yes, Nyanas does have an item in Ishin, yeah.
After his emotional change, we can see that he doesn't care at all what others think about him. We can see this perfectly during a scene of a meeting between Doshima family lieutenants, where he does not care at all the attitude others have.
Twice now. Just edit the audio.
Towards him. Even though trauma can cause personality changes even deep into adulthood, it's still hard to imagine that these personality changes would cause such a drastic disregard for life, as we see in the case with Nishiki. However, according to Dr. Ash,
Nishiki realizes that he needs to... he was never going to become someone like Kiryu following the same path.
When a person who is not psychotic commits a homicide, some dehumanize or blind themselves to the person that they're killing. This idea of dehumanization is another core aspect of Nishiki's transformation. After experiencing traumatic event after traumatic event, Nishiki experiences a form of emotional detachment from the world. According to Jennifer Littner, emotional detachments can result from trauma and abuse, and Nishiki was a victim of both. This emotional detachment causes Nishiki to dehumanize everyone around him. Sherry Hamby describes dehumanization as redefining the targets of prejudice and violence by making them seem
they modded Kiwami Nishiki into Zero and recreated a scene from Kiwami in Zero or extended it. Oh, that's cool. In the original Yakuza 1, Nishiki was never deeply fleshed out. Oh, so a lot of the cutscenes new for Kiwami then. Well, Yakuza 1, there was like a lot of stuff that... Like, Yakuza 1 is not even Yakuza in the form that we know Yakuza as now, right? Like, back then, it wasn't until one of the later games they even added a lot of the side content. Like, sub-stories were a thing, but, like, the mini-games that we have now, those didn't come until, I think, after... I think the game art that came out after 2.
Human than other people. Anytime someone reduces a human to a single characteristic, especially a negative one, they are dehumanizing. This is the case with Nishiki. He has reduced everyone around him to a single characteristic. Stepping stones. He came to...
Didn't Zero save the series in the West? It definitely revived it. Zero is what revived it, and then Like a Dragon sort of gave it new life. But, like, there was... Because... There was, like, a very high chance that, like, 5 was not going to get released in the West. There was a possibility this series just became, like, a Japan-only series. Because it just was not really that popular until 0 and then Kiwami, the Kiwami games. And then Like a Dragon. Now, Infinite Wealth is out, and that's, like, way bigger than any of the other games.
The twisted belief that everyone around him could be sacrificed for his ambitions of greatness. Nishiki's story is a tragic one. He was a person with a big heart and a man who felt deeply. He struggled his entire life with feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth. A man too kind for the world of the Yakuza, who was eventually broken down by the dark realities of it. He gave into his inner demons and developed a twisted sense of self. His inferiority complex, paired with all the trauma he suffered,
you'd like Yakuza 2 silly mod. That would be fun, actually.
Himself, he overcorrected and developed narcissistic and schizoid tendencies as a form of psychological defense. He could trust in only himself and ended up dehumanizing everyone else around him as a pawn in his great schemes. This is why the ending of Yakuza 1 is so deeply poetic. In the last moments of his life, Nishiki realized the error of his ways and sought atonement. His downward spiral that began with the pull of a trigger and the death of another ends with a final pull of the trigger and his own death. It was
I have
his
a 1 minute
way
clip to
of
show
taking
you.
responsibility for how
Let me
he
know.
lived his life. Class,
in chat.
as always, thanks for checking out VGology, where we explore the psychology of our favorite video games. I want to take a moment and apologize for the delay in getting this video out. I've been busy with work and personal obligations, but I'll try to get these videos out more often. If you enjoyed this video,
I miss
then raise
Zero
a virtual
Nishiki
glass
so
by
much.
hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's join Kira
Like,
for a drink.
People talk about missing Zero Majima. Like, no, like, Zero Majima's cool, sure, whatever. But, like, Zero Nishiki? Because like, Nishiki is dead after the first game. Majima has, like, there are, like, hints of Zero Majima throughout the rest of the series. Here is that video. That was a really good video. I will definitely have to watch because there was a Majima video that this guy put out as well. Yeah, is the Majima stuff just an act? Does Ichiban have schizophrenia? I'll have to watch that one as well. Copy the link. What is this? What did you send me? Oh my fucking god, what is this? What the fuck have you sent me? This is so stupid. Anime girls. Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you seen the IRL Yakuza fights? You will recreate them from the games IRL. No, I haven't. Oh, God. I am going to head out and grab some food. And tomorrow we have the episode of Carl Rochelle out for the podcast. Can you watch a 2-minute one? Just, yeah, send it and you know, I might, well, you know, we can have a look at it. Sure, why not? Why not? I heart Nishiki. I heart Nishiki. Nishiki. I heart Nishiki. He gets so much worse in karaoke in some of the later games. Like, Haruka's stuff is bad, but, like, it's so... Like, there are some points where it gets so fucking insane. What is this one?
イカれちまったんですよ。俺は。おお。どれ。
That face. What the fuck happens in Song of Life? I've not played 6. I don't know what this fight is supposed to be. I wonder how many times they did that and fucked up the spacing and and it fucking hurt. I think the worst part is the sword choreography. Like, everything else looks really cool, but like the swords, the sword stuff's a bit rough. Oh, it's Kiwami 2. Oh, it's the song? Okay, I was confused. Oh, the first part is Yakuza 6. Oh, I see. Okay, so the later part was Kiwami 2. I see? Wait. This is Yuya. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember. Okay, yeah. I thought it was all just one segment.